we face a different generation of racism than our parents did. Things were much more blatant, so it was easy to say, that's racist, you're racist, this is a racist institution. But we're facing things that you're like, okay, am I crazy, or did they just do this? And so it kind of, we internalize a lot.
Does anyone have, y'all are, I love it, that's the dedication.
This is Tanzina Vega reporting for the New York Times. At the Lowell Lecture Hall in Cambridge, crowds gathered to see I Too Am Harvard, a one-night performance put on by students who feel marginalized at the university.
Does anyone actually have physical tickets in their hands?
Like, people think we're just gung-ho. Like, no, there was times we didn't want to do this because it made us really like uncomfortable and have to face things and have to face people that we were not like prepared to.
The play was based on a student interview project and Tumblr page, also called I Too Am Harvard. The project focuses on tiny, offhand comments, the kind that can seem innocent, but can really sting under the surface.
At the beginning of the year, introducing myself to people, sometimes people would take a step back and be like, wait, what are you?
They're called microaggressions, and younger generations are increasingly responding to them.
I came from Connecticut.
The microaggressions that I encounter are simply people who don't realize my racial background and who really question it. So, are you really Asian? Can I see a photo of your mother?
Microaggression is an academic term that's been around for decades. But recently it's taken root in social media campaigns as students across the country are questioning whether their generation is indeed colorblind.
It's important to have the vocabulary to be able to describe your lived experiences in order to feel like they're justified, because people are always trying to dismiss them.
Right.
We have to show that these little daily microaggressions are just sort of the little bubbling up of greater racial tensions that are underlying this whole post-racial, if we have this post-racial surface, there's all of these extreme racial tensions underneath the surface where people are like, oh, we have a black president, we're post-racial, but still it's okay to shoot a child just for having black skin.
You don't know how to respond. You don't want to make it a big deal, but it is. And you almost regret some of those moments.
There might be a comment that I don't want to think too much into because I'll rather just ignore it and then move on. But that's why I really enjoy the play, to see those that aren't necessarily ignoring it but trying to do something about it.
Why do you ignore it? Why do you ignore it when someone
It's always easier to ignore.
To be clear, there's a risk in calling out microaggressions. Some worry it can make a situation more uncomfortable. And critics say these student campaigns are an overreaction to unintended offenses. But for some, conversations like these are a good reminder to be more aware.
As a social worker who's gone through many lessons of racism and sexism, where people think they're experts but they're not, and don't recognize that it's a lifetime of learning and a lifetime of interactions where you continue to learn and grow, I felt like it was an enormous opportunity to be reminded once again of what's real.